So you're looking for the best radar detector to buy. Chances are, if you've done some research, you've heard of the Escort Passport and the Valentine 1. Now, they are both expensive, but I guarantee if you spend $100 on a radar detector, it's going to have a shorter range and go off so much you're going to end up wanting to throw it out your window. I've had this radar detector for 3 years. It's an Escort Passport 9500 IX. On their website, it's $450, but you can find it for $350 on Amazon Prime, and places like Best Buy carry it as well. This is the Valentine one, which they have on their website for $400, and I've had this in my Gallardo for the last 8 months. Let's go over the strengths of each first, then the weaknesses, and then I'll talk about which one I actually prefer. The Passport is a lot sleeker, the display is better looking, and most importantly, the sound is less annoying. This is a key component of buying a radar detector because it will go off a fair amount, so if you hate the way it sounds, it's going to be a huge downside. One of the things I much prefer about the Passport is the location of the mute button. It's located on the base of the cable, the power cable, where it plugs into the cigarette lighter. That means you can easily reach it, mute the button when your radar is going off. However, on the Valentine one, the mute button is located on the unit itself right here. So, if you have to mute it, you got to reach forward towards the window, press it. It's not the most convenient location. One of the things I like the most about the Passport is its intelligent GPS feature. This means it can silence a lot of false alarms, and here's why. If you haven't noticed, supermarkets use radar for their sliding doors to detect when someone is approaching the supermarket. Now, that unfortunately sets off the radar detectors. But the good news is they're always in the same location at the exact same time. So, with this GPS feature,
GPS filter on.
When you pass the same false alarm multiple times, eventually the unit learns it and no longer plays a sound when you pass by a supermarket. This is very convenient, especially if you drive a similar route, you commute to work. You're going to start losing all those false alarms, and then the only time it really goes off and says KA band is if there's an actual police radaring you. The display is also extremely clear, and it shows the radar band that you're being hit with on the screen, which is very nice because typically KA is definitely a cop, and something like X band is usually a false alarm.
Auto no X highway.
Very easy to see, and something that the Valentine one does not have. Now, the Valentine one has directional arrows that let you know where the signal is coming from. If you're driving on the freeway and your radar constantly keeps going off, it might be nice to know that the police officer is actually behind you. That way you can pull over to the side and let him pass. It also tells you the amount of signals that you're being hit with. Potentially, there's a cop behind you, as well as in front of you. It's nice to know that it's not just one signal. The range on the Valentine 1 is also superior to the 9500 IX. It's pretty impressive how far this thing picks up K and KA band. The Valentine 1 has both front and rear-facing antennas to pick up signals in front of you and behind you. Notice the Passport only has one for the front, so if someone is behind you and a cop radars you, chances are it's not going to pick it up. Downsides of the Passport, it doesn't have arrows, which is really nice. And not having a rear-facing sensor seems like a huge oversight. Now, Passport Escort claims on their website that radar is very reflective, which is true. So that if you are hit from behind, it's possible that the radar will be reflected off of an object in front of you and then hit the front-facing sensor. But the problem is, if there's no objects in front of you for it to reflect off of, then you're a sitting duck. Some downsides of the Valentine 1. Having the mute button located on the unit itself is frustrating. Having to reach forward and press it when you could just reach down. Really annoying. Also, the indication for what band you're being hit with is far too small. Especially at nighttime, you've got pretty much no idea whether you're hit by KA, X, or K band. And that's silly because typically if it's KA, it's going to be a police officer, and K and X, not so much. Also, it's just kind of a bulky and unattractive unit if you care about that. I think Passport is a lot sleeker. So if you've got a car with a nice interior, this one looks a lot more modern. They haven't really changed the shape of this much in many years, although they've updated the software. This is plastic versus magnesium, I believe. But still, I don't really like the shape of it. final conclusions. If you're doing a rally and accuracy as well as range is of the utmost importance, then the Valentine one is the way to go. But it's going to go off a lot more, have more false alarms, and the sound's going to be more annoying. That's why, for a daily basis, for either of my two cars, I'd prefer the 9500 IX. Now, originally, this is the first radar I owned, and I bought the Valentine one purely to compare it to this. I was just going to get another 9500 IX for the Gallardo, but I decided not to, just to put a head-to-head between the two competitors together. I've lived with the Valentine one for a while, and while I like it, I don't like it as much as this. So for daily use, my vote goes to the Escort Passport 9500 IX. Hope you found this video informative. Like always, please browse our channel and subscribe. We've got a new Twitter. Follow us at vehicle_virgins. Like us on Facebook, please, Vehicle Virgins, and follow us on Instagram at Vehicle Virgins. Look forward to seeing you next video.